The Life Finder keeps Maya up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody back to the stream. I'm going to do the replay cast tonight. I just put a live replay cast up there just to see how many I can get through today. I have two currently planned. The first one that we're going to be getting into is going to be Tri-Hardz versus Painfully Average. This is the map overview. We had first pick on the side of the Tri-Hardz and map pick from Painfully Average. It doesn't tell me who won the coin toss. So bands that came out for blue was Towers of Doom and Volskaya. For Painfully Average, it was Cursed Hollow and Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we're going to be starting out the match in Infernal Shrines. So without further ado, we're just going to get into the game. And we will get playing right away here. I'll make sure that I actually updated this. There we go. On the blue side, we have the Tri-Hardz, Tuna Breath on the Varian Duck Rogers playing Greymane. Tesseract, sorry, no, that's not Greymane. Sorry. Tesseract is playing the Gul'dan. I wish they wouldn't stack on each other. John Bunyan's on the Anduin, Riven is on the Greymane, and I think Duck Rogers is actually on the Arel. No, Tesseract's on the Arel, Duck Rogers is on the Gul'dan. On the red side, terrible casting here on this side. We have Painfully Average, Lord Gold playing the Garrosh, Cyrus on the Kael'thas, Gingermancer playing Raynor, Hufflepuffin on the Zool, and Desmurd on the Brightwing. Bold strategy would make my healer happy to see that. Tesseract's going to hop in, see if he can get a little bit of damage done. Lots of pressure coming out onto the Arel. And opening handshake is going to be done. That is going to be it for that rotation. Swap out my vape. Human Breath gets thrown in, but nothing else happens from it. Kael'thas is going to free clear the mid lane. Zool in the top lane. Cocktail build coming out from Greymane. See if I see anything else odd. Everything else looks pretty normal except for maybe the unrivaled strength instead of Warbreaker. But 6 stacks of Echo Corruption already in the first minute and a half. That's actually pretty decent. Pretty standard rotations. No one really looking to make anything happen so far on the map. Both teams just kind of trading it out. Still just mostly rotations. No one really touching each other this matchup. Fours are going to be up, so we can take a look at the talents again. So I don't have a lot to talk about. Another thing we're going to see here is Veteran Marksman with the sustaining rounds. The thing I have an issue with Veteran Marksman is the 2 stacks. 3 minutes in, 2 stacks on that. Not exactly what you want to be getting out of that talent. And that mostly comes about from the fact that no one's been looking for fights. They've just been rotating. And it looks like in the macro side of things, though, the advantage is actually in favor of Tri-Hardz. So we're going to see Kael'thas try to poke over the wall here. Got 1 or 2 minions out of it. Substantial lead, though, for the Tri-Hardz so far. Root onto Varian, but he's going to get the taunt onto Garrosh. And good damage, actually, onto Garrosh is going to drop him to 20 health, and he will eventually go down. And that's going to put things in favor of the Tri-Hardz even further. They did fall behind in the minion count. Kael'thas doing his best to see if he can finish this over the wall. Dodges a root from John Bunyan, which was pretty good. But yeah, in fact, I'm not sure why Varian backed off there. Him and Rel could have easily pinned Kael'thas into that spot, but they did spot out the Brightwing and the Greymane the Rainer coming back in. And that was probably enough to get them to back off. Hufflepuffin putting out the pressure. Lots of damage coming out. Good root. But in the end, it is Varian that's going to die here to the Garrosh. But they're going to trade out Zool for it. And the Garrosh, sorry, Rainer. Man, what is going on with me today? Are we sitting a little low on the viewer count, folks? A whole lot happening in the stream chat at the moment. Pressure coming out in the bottom lane using the objective, and again, it's a Mortar Punisher. I like Mortar Punishers. I think that they have gotten way better than they were before. Yeah, the circles are dodgeable, but they can sometimes be a real nuisance when you're trying to dodge out from the other side. What's really good about them is they zone out really well, which makes it hard to actually push them down. And the siege damage, I think, especially if there's no one there to actually stop it, is actually pretty substantial. Like, it does a really good job on dealing with structures. And we can kind of see the pressure was really good. Now, Greymane Gul'dan is some fantastic siege. So part of that is when this composition here on the side of the Tri-Hardz wins, they're going to be able to push that up. So it is full sustaining, or full marksman build here. But still only sitting at about 9 stacks, and I feel like at 6 minutes into the game, you'll want to be around 20 to 30 if you're running veteran marksman. I like veteran marksman on maps that really require you to have long sustained fights, and this is a map that can definitely force it. But we haven't been getting what we need out of that pick, I feel like, so far. And Rainer out a little bit too far, not respecting the dive from Varian Greymane, especially with the follow-up roots. Like, it's rough to be able to stand there and take that amount of damage. Osiris is going to get picked off here too, because I think he was hesitated a little bit too much on that dive, though. Taunt was available too as well. I'm actually kind of surprised that Varian didn't pull the trigger on that E a little bit sooner. So top lane's been getting a lot of pressure here from Zool. We're all doing our best to actually stop it. We actually get a bribe from Brightwing, but the problem is Brightwing's going to need to zap out, uses the blink heal actually onto a minion. I don't think they were expecting it, and that actually keeps Desmond alive, so good play. This camp isn't getting hit by the fort, which is lucky for them. If the minion wave was further up when the camp came out, it actually probably would have just wiped that thing out by itself. So, Painfully Average actually doing a pretty good job getting back into this game. They've equalized out experience, and they put a lot of pressure on this top lane, kind of doing a good job at dealing with it. Plus, they're going to be able to have this Bruiser camp pushing up the top. And if that's not just like flat dealt with, I do think it was an early take on it, though. That is the problem with this camp, actually, and the fact that no one else rotated into this location. It was just 2 of them. And the 4-man rotation came up because it was an early bruiser grab, so they figured, well, we can burn this down before the objective is up. So I think a bit of a misplay there, though, by Painfully Average in the end. I like the idea that they had control over this top lane and that the bruiser would be pushing, but I think they wanted to hold off on taking that. And now, with Kael'thas down, they got no way to poke this out. The whole team was not in position for this objective, while Zool walked in kind of by himself. And that's going to be another kill for the side of Tri-Hardz, and they're going to be able to pull ahead even further here. And there goes the taunt onto Garrosh. He's getting really, really low. That poison damage is doing a lot of work there. They do trade out Gul'dan for it, so decent. But 35 stacks on that corruption is actually really good for Gul'dan. He's putting a lot of pressure on it. Now, the stacks are getting a little bit better here. Veteran Marksman getting a little bit more value from Gingermancer. He's really got to get those stacks up, though. But doing a good job. They should be able to poke this out, actually, with Gul'dan dead. The advantage is slightly in their favor. They actually have the lead, I would say, at this point with who they have on the shrines. But Hufflepuffin's going to get located here, and they're going to put the pressure on. And that's going to be taunt and probably a kill, but they do secure the objective. So they drop Azul, but they do lose the Punisher. And it is an Arcane Punisher. Now, Arcane Punishers have been nerfed from the power that they used to have where, you know, by itself it could push in a good portion of this wall and be a major threat. Still does a lot of damage, but again, it's not, as we saw, a full thing circled right onto Greymane, and it almost looked like it took no damage from it. But this is good pressure coming in from Painfully Average, and it looks like they're going to be able to clear up this fort, and I would say with this, they have been able to close the gap. So good objective win. The kills have been definitely working against them, but generally speaking, they're sitting in a good spot. It'll make me sad if there's a low viewer count, but, you know, at the same time, everybody can watch these on the YouTube once I have it posted, so it'll be available for those that are obviously asleep at this time of night. Especially since this is Division D East, I would be very surprised if anyone was awake during this for the live cast. But again, with replay casts, they don't have to be live. You can catch them up on my channel. They'll be posted there very soon. But no worries. Gingermancer was about to get engaged upon there, and the team was available to get the pressure, but the Q was well placed, gets him out of trouble there. But that corruption damage is going to stack up. We can actually already see Gul'dan starting to pull ahead of the pack here in damage. With Echo Corruption done this early, it tends to put a lot of pressure in it. Now, we did get Kael'thas finishing his Mana Addict, which is good. I do think it's a little behind the mark where you want it. Generally, you want it done in about 6 minutes, if you can. That would generally show good rotation. 20 orbs is not hard to get in 6 minutes if you're getting good rotation on your waves, and if you're grabbing camps aggressively. I think what happens with orb quests most frequently, and I don't like this from either team actually, the early bruisers on each side of the map here is actually kind of sad because they can get so much value out of just having this good 4-man fear, though, is going to break up this engagement from Painfully Average. And Zool's shooting pretty low. We got a nice teleport coming in from Desmerd. Irel getting right into the backline, and he's going to go down. The light bomb does not go off because he dies. So Painfully Average taking a 15-16 fight actually comes out on top of it and might even get the kill onto Riven as well. And that is exactly what happens. He goes down. That is a dead Riven. I guess it's Riven. I don't know why I'm saying Riven. A good fight. Painfully average. Actually, they took a 16-15 fight in the top lane. Under 4 and 1. So that's a good turnaround for them. And Zul is super fast on this shrine. Like, he's very good at clearing these up quickly. We did get Mortal Strike. I think Shattering Throw can actually be considered here, given the fact that both Brightwing and Zul gain shields. And in fact, with the defensive measures, so does Garrosh. So Shattering Throw can actually be pretty valuable here. But that's going to be the second Punisher, and this is a Frozen Punisher. Frozen Punishers are the best sieging Punishers currently. But they're not going to push with this, and that is a mistake. Flat out. Going for that greedy camp there, I don't think is really going to be worth losing half the Punisher value here. Sad choice there. They have such good siege damage on the side of Painfully Average. They'll get a fort here, but it's not going to threaten keep, and that's kind of what you wanted to do at this stage in the game. So a bit of an unfortunate situation here, I'd say. So they, you know, they get the fort, they get the camp, and that's good. That's all good. Like, I'm not trying to say that those aren't good things to get that, but at the same time, allowing that Punisher to get so little value is kind of a shame. They could have been way aggressive on that with the Garrosh in particular. You can zone out most of these plays. They don't want to step up into Garrosh, not off of a Frozen Punisher where they can get thrown right into a root. Irel looking to see if they can find somebody. Ginger Master goes for the Q to dismount him, although Auto Attack would have done very much the same thing, and now they don't have that disengage. And it looks like the stun, taunt, fear is all going to come out and kill Garrosh. They really wanted to destroy him, and Desmert, though, is also in big trouble. And this, that squad is really good at chasing down, but again, Brightwing really using those teleports wisely. That, hey, well, there's a minion in lane, I can get a quick jump and get out. And a lot of other people would die in that situation. Very good usage of Blink Heal. Zul's going to find a root on an exposed Gul'dan, and that's a terrible spot for Gul'dan to be in. Nice Leap of Faith is going to keep him alive. Good exchange. In fact, if there was more DPS available on that rotation, they were sticking a little bit closer together. The Garrosh is dead. Zul is your de facto kind of like rotation tank. And had he actually been in that position, that would have been a kill on Gul'dan. And that kill would have actually put things in a good spot for Painfully Average. Instead, now Zul, thinking that he had his team around him, is now going to be caught out. And instead, he's going to die. And this was exactly what happened. So, I was just talking about how if the DPS were with Zul on that rotation, they would have got the kill on Gul'dan. And then Tri-Hardz turn around and do the exact same thing with Gul'dan as a 4-man squad on an overextended Zul. And of course, while I'm not paying attention, Kael'thas gets picked off. One of those things where Josh would probably tell me that I need to roll back the timer, and I can catch things like that. I do intend to do a replay cast with him sometime here, where we can kind of go in depth and kind of do that. We'll see the end timer of it, but you know, at the same time, we'll kind of do a bit of a coaching review. I think that'd be really cool. He's a really good guy. He's Veggies, who plays on Gilly Shark, really has a good mind for the game and can teach a lot of people about this game. Probably more so than I can, which I don't think is too difficult. Nice throw. Actually, he's going to put Tesseract in a bad spot. He does have his Ardent Defender up, and that's going to keep him alive. The taunt came in probably to help secure the kill and almost did a good job. But again, the DPS weren't really in a good position. Kael'thas was dead. Zul was split. You know, if you get the root after that in that spot, once the Ardent Defender goes down, good throw from Garrosh to keep the light bomb from hitting everybody. But At the same time, the kills come out and both frontliners are gone. Tesseract trying to stay alive. The damage from Poison Nova too high. Good taunt's gonna maybe put the pressure in. They need to kill Gingermancer. He's gonna walk away. I didn't actually take a look at the talents there. Let's take a look at him again. He did have Paint Them Red, so with the Q he survives there. But of course, in the end, it's Arcane Punisher, and it is going to the side of Tri-Hardz. 2-for-1 trade. I mean, this is a super brawly match between these two teams, but Tri-Hardz is clearly having the upper hand in several of these engagements. Especially in the late game. Late game's been better. There's a great macro play from Painfully Average up to this point. I mean, there's a reason why they have one fort dead and they've taken all of the enemy teams. But they have missed some opportunities. And so this is a good defense. And again, we see a missed opportunity. No actual attempt to dive this fort. There's no frontliners. And Varian is super aggressive. Like, there's no reason why you don't just dive in with an Arcane Punisher onto those backliners that are sitting way too safely behind that fort. A missed opportunity by the Tri-Hardz, for sure. Absolutely could have gotten kills there. Fort should have gone down. A bit of a misplay, I think. Over prioritization of camps, underutilization of what they bring to the table. Not enough really focus, especially with all of this siege damage, on pushing those advantages where they need to. But Osiris might face check a bush there. He does realize what he was doing there, though, at the last second and steps away. Hufflepuffin, thinking, hey, they're probably here, drops the root onto the Varian. Not exactly the target you want to be spending your time trying to kill. Despite his taunt, the nerfs to taunt, he's still a beefy hero. Sitting at roughly about 6,000 health right now, which is significant. Hufflepuffin, though, big trouble. He's going to get dove upon, drops his shield to stay alive, and manages to peel out. Blink heal helps out quite a bit. Both these teams just kind of mid-brawling at the moment. Looking for that opportunity to see if they can get the advantage on the engagements and get the kills they need to take an advantage somewhere on the map while, cleaning out waves. This is post 20. Wave cleaning is kind of interesting to me. No one really wants to give up poor positioning, though, but we're going to see the rotation come out from both teams onto this top camp, it looks like. But it is going to be Osiris, not on a mount, walking into this dangerous location. Riven actually probably sees it, but doesn't go for the engagement. And now they're going to probably grab this. Osiris is going to walk into a very bad spot. He's lucky he doesn't die there. That's going to be a good bruiser steal. So the rotation was too slow from Painfully Average to deal with it. When they kind of had an opportunity here to collapse on a aggressive play. 5v5, they shouldn't be able to get away with that. Tri-Hardz should not be able to steal this camp right out from under their noses. Really don't like that. Ugh. And so here comes the engagement that we've all been talking about. Nice. Poison Nova is going to hit on all 5 members, and that pressure is going to put enough onto Anduin where he's in big trouble. But Kael'thas goes down as Greymane is kind of free pushing here on the backline, but now he's isolated. They do get the kill on Garrosh, but the counter kill on Greymane. But we do still have Gul'dan, and a great taunt actually keeps Gul'dan alive because Raynor was putting a lot of pressure on him right there. And Arel is over here chasing down Zool. The teleport in from Brightwing is going to do a lot of work, but I don't think Guardian Defender has been popped, and that's exactly what he does. Lots of damage being done by that Zool. In fact, he's the top damage dealer on Painfully Average currently. Bruiser Camp's getting value, though. And with the slight difference in hero kills, we are going to see Tri-Hardz get another objective. Now, they haven't taken forts in any other lanes. But that's the thing about late game. Forts are butter. They don't really mean anything. And without a fort, this thing's going to go right onto the keep. which is already down a tower, which means that a Frozen Punisher can get a lot of value here. We definitely want to see them push this advantage, though. Kael'thas and Brightwing making a risky rotation, but feeling like they were still safe enough that it wasn't a big deal. Zool making a even riskier rotation, and this is actually a problem. Zool's going to get taunted here, and he's going to die. Not where you want to be, Zool. That's just a feels bad moment if I've ever seen one. Great dive into stun. Corruption getting a ton of value there on both Brightwing and Garrosh. And it's going to be Raynor now left to his own devices, and that's going to be another kill. 2 staggered deaths. Half health Punisher. This could very well be the game. And it looks like it might be. Tri-Hardz pushing this down. Great siege damage coming out from both Corruption and putting a lot of damage onto Lord Gold, but he's going to die here. They do get a good AoE damage there, but it's just not enough. That's going to be GG game number 1. Those are end of game statistics. Both teams were actually pretty even. I don't think it was necessarily one over the other. We saw just some poor play at the end there by Painfully Average that put them behind. But they were in this game all the way through up until basically the end there. Even the Frozen Punisher wasn't a guarantee of a victory by any means, but the rotation from Zool unfortunately put them into a bad spot and did secure the kill. So that is going to be game number 1 going to Tri-Hardz. So I'm going to put us on the "We'll be right back" screen. Alrighty, let me just put us to "We'll be right back" while I set up the next game number 2. We'll be right back. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. I didn't realize I made the screen pop up over here. I guess I should have when I pressed the 2 button, obviously. Welcome back. I was just getting everything set up. We're going to get into game number 2. Might as well pop the overview up right away so we can get going. Painfully Average does take us to Dragonshire for game number 2, looking for the equalizer. So let's get right into it then, shall we? Sorry, guys. Just give me 2 seconds. Anyways, let's pop up the press play, pop up the graphic, because we should be good to go. And that's going to be it. Starting in game number 1, we have, or number 2, Tri-Hardz on the blue side, Tuna Breath back on the variant, Tesseract playing Garrosh this time, Riven on the gray main, John Bunyan playing Stukov this time, and Duck Rogers is going to pick up the Phoenix. And on the other side, we have a very interesting composition coming out from Painfully Average. Gingermancer on the Ragnaros, Hufflepuffin playing Lily, Lord Gold on the Dahaka, Desmond playing Uther, and of course, Osiris on the Zagara. So, lots of macro. Dahaka not going to the top lane, quite interesting. We see a tank Uther, but not really any follow-up damage to it. No hyper carry, really, unless we're doing kind of like a hyper carry Ragnaros. So it's interesting. It's very macro heavy and can be used, I think, well. But Hufflepuffin's going to instead feed the first kill to the sign of Tri-Hardz through that bush there. You can't just be walking blind into bush as a Lily, especially against Garroshes. And this is the one thing that happens a lot of time when you play against teams that do run good Garrosh play, is that those things happen. Now, what I'd like to see Garrosh doing right now is not what he's doing right now, which is, of course, auto-attacking minions in a lane. Just stay in the bush, stay in the try, keep popping between these 2 areas right here. Looking for anybody silly enough to walk back out into the lane, like Lily, and getting another one of those throw combos. So Varian's going to go into the bottom lane. We have Phoenix in the top. You know, I like Phoenix, and I think that this makes sense for the early game, especially since Varian is not going to be able to offlane until level 4 anyways, so I think it's perfectly fine. The invade's going to come in, but there's only the 2 frontliners. The rest aren't there yet. Though Greymane's going to find a Gingermancer who's way too far ahead. Silence and a body block is going to keep him in a bad spot, and that's going to be another kill there for Tri-Hardz. They're going to pull ahead here with 2 kills, and they're probably going to steal this camp nicely away. And that's kind of the issue that we're seeing here on the side of Painfully Average. They don't have tools to deal with the 4-man invades. Dahaka can't come in. They can't make a 5-man engagement happen. Almost like, can one of those arguments here where we have Phoenix on the top lane dealing with Zagara. I wonder if you're better off putting Dahaka up there instead of the Zagara until Zagara at least has her 10s. Because, yeah, here's the problem. Phoenix is going to win this trade almost 100%. Dahaka could at least hold that top lane to some degree. And if he doesn't, at least he can come down here and make a 5v4 happen. Good throw, good stun onto Hufflepuffin, but he is going to be able to get himself out with the double support, with the Dahaka there. We do have Colossus Smash Varian coming in. Let's take up another look at the level 4s here. Double channel, but no one in the mid, and they're going to lose the bottom lane here. But Desmond gets thrown in, and he's got no mana, can't heal himself. We're going to see a pick-off by Greymane on a rotating Zagara. They were looking to see if they could get that advantage, but again, there's no quick advantage. And Greymane instead just gets an easy pick-off in the mid lane. Riven is still pretty low. He doesn't really want to jump into these 2 heroes here, but the kill is going to come back out. Nice silence pool, making sure that they secure it. Gingermancer's just going to have to walk away. He's going to drop an orb, but it's not going to be enough. The Hawk is going to move in on Tuna Breath, but it's not going to be nearly fast enough to stall out the first objective, so that's going to be Dragonite. Greymane's in the Dragonite, probably your best siege character, not the favorite one that I would put in there, especially with, I prefer something like Variant. As while he's not bad, his siege damage versus Greymane, it's not even in the same level. It's definitely in favor of Greymane there, but you know, Tuna Breath was one of the bottom holding it in, so I understand what they had to do out of necessity, so not a big deal. And Garrosh still being around means that they can still get good pickoffs here, and we're actually seeing 2 examples of that. Both Dahaka and Ragnaros get abused by him, and that's a huge amount of advantage here. 7-5. Dragon Knight in the bottom lane. This fort's going to go down. These Siege Giants are just going to clear it up, and we're actually seeing a huge amount of aggression coming up from Tri-Hardz. They're just pushing right up there, doing their best to get the kills that they can. Hufflepuffin, though, is able to kite himself out of danger, and Tesseract is super low. He's going to want to have to step out of here, especially since there's not a whole lot that that Stukov can do to get his health bar back up quickly. He can do it slowly over time. It kind of can be like a walking well, sort of like Malfurion in some senses, because he just keeps spamming out his Q, and it will just constantly keep increasing that passive regeneration everyone has. And Phoenix has just been having a heyday in the top lane. Like, really hasn't had to struggle. I really don't think you need to stick him up there, and he is going to do more than the Varian, but at the same time, the burst damage is better from Varian, so perhaps in the end it is better. I don't know. It's working. What am I bitching about? 8 kills to 0. We're seeing the advantages. We're seeing the skill. Garrosh is going to go and start this, and that's going to warn them off enough, but not quite enough. Ginger Mantra's still going to walk in there, and they're going to get the burst damage out. Is he going to peel himself away? But he's got nowhere to go. And that's going to be another kill. So, good stack. They didn't stack two camps here, which I would have liked them to do, but I can see why they want to just put the pressure up, because it would be a free clear had they done that, given the fact that they went for the kills instead. They're going to get it now, but it's not going to get as much value as it would have gotten. But I mean, again, I'm really just nitpicking here. We're going to get another throw out instead of in, which is fine. Mana pools are pretty low. And Ragnaros is going to pop his Molten Core to clear a camp. Okay. Not sold on the Molten Core there. I think that was kind of a wasted 120-second cooldown. You got basically nothing out of it. So 5-man rotation to the top lane. 10s are still not here. You really want to be soaking at this moment, which is what we're not seeing. And in fact, Tri-Hardz got this bruiser camp out, which is going to somewhat stop any real pressure coming out. And Osiris in a bad spot, way too far forward, gets hit by the Colossus Smash and dies quickly. And so this camp's going to push up. They're going to get the objective channeled. And no one is now, because 5 people are up here in the top lane, ready to stall at the bottom. We need the dig to come out from Dahaka, but he's not going to move into it. Instead, they're going to look for the fight by stalling out this objective. It's a 4v4, though, so I guess they figured that they're okay, but the kill does come out onto Ragnaros, as well as Uther, and now with the taunt, that's going to be Lily as well. So things going from bad to worse for Painfully Average. And again, the real problem here is nothing more than the fact that they did not have any ultimates available. You don't want to be taking 5v5 team fights with ultimates available. You know, you dig down, stall out, and soak every lane that you can, even if you lose structures, until you can get those 10s. Because without 10s, there's no way you're taking a 4v4 or 5v4, even a 4v5. You might get lucky and take a 4v5, but as we saw, that was not the case. And the kill was on Zagara originally, so it became a 4v5 against you. Out 10s, that's just pretty much a never going to work. Uther doing his best to get in the top lane and stall this out, and I think he might just be in time. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to get the second stall, which is good. Dahaka, though, dug in to stall. Bad communication coming out there, obviously. And that's going to be another kill. 15-0 for Tri-Hardz on Painfully Average here. They are running away with this game, though the objective is definitely still being stalled out well, and that is causing them some issues. They're using the global well. Is it globals? Yeah, it is Nidus Network, so it should be globals. Although we're only seeing the first bits of Nidus being popped out, as most of the creep got cleared up after that major loss in the top lane. So first Smash is going to come out to try to keep him alive, but it only just stalled out the inevitable, and that's going to be the 16th kill for Tri-Hardz with a dead Ragnaros. And now the thing is that you don't have to worry about the objective here. Greymane, though, is going to look to see if he can get a kill onto Lily, but Dahaka comes in to make sure that he doesn't go down, and now we're going to see a double stack of camps here in the bottom lane. Yeah, I don't know about some of these rotations, and we're going to see 3 men actually coming up against the Phoenix, but the stuns aren't in place. They aren't cutting off his retreat, so he's just going to walk out. But yeah, we're going to see a double stack in the bottom lane, and this is right. This is the way you want to pull this off. In fact, I would like to see Phoenix have made this rotation already to the bottom lane and just be looking to push this up. Sure, you might give up a keep or an objective, but what is the Dragon Knight going to do when everyone else is stuck in the bottom lane dealing with the double camp push? Great throw into a kill. That burst damage is doing them lots of work here. Great damage coming out, but Garrosh probably going a little too deep here. So first smash comes out, but again, so first smash is one of those abilities that if you don't have a good setup for it, it's often not going to do what it needs to do. And so yeah, they're going to take that double camp, and they are going to take a keep with it. Phoenix still fighting Uther in the top lane, which is obviously a winning battle in the long run. He's going to cut off his retreat. But in the end, it looks like Uther's actually doing fine. In the meantime, though, while he stalls out the Uther retreat, we're going to see Tri-Hardz just go for the end of the game here with 2 pickoffs on Zagara and Dahaka. And that's going to be game number 2. Tri-Hardz taking out Painfully Average in a pretty quick 2-0 series. Well done, GG. Oh, there you go. There's your talents. And yeah, Tri-Hardz had a really good game. Greymane, 6 kills. Highest damage total. Doing a good job getting the pressure out. So well done. Alrighty, I'm going to put us on a "we'll be right back" screen while I set up our next match. It's going to be Luciodology versus Randy Newman, I think. We'll be right back.